Right, the last time I did a video was in the cold winter with all the snow and frost. We're now in we're well into spring. It's May, end of May. And as you can see, things have really grown. This is down by the river. The first few banded demoiselles have started to appear. The mayflies are out. You can see up there bluebells and red campion. Oh, kingfisher I can hear. There he goes. I don't know if he caught that, it was a bit fast. And you can probably hear there's some jackdaws, they're breeding well again. Swallows are out. They arrived a couple of weeks ago. And as we move around back onto the meadow, you can hear white throats. Sedge warblers have settled this year, a lot of them compared to previous years. But you can see how different it is. All the cow parsley and butterflies are out. Oh, there's a swallow. Crops are growing, skylarks are singing. Completely different. Very few butterflies. Probably won't see many today either. It's a little bit too breezy for them to be in flight, and it's only really, the sun's only really just come out. So it might take a little bit of time for them to warm up. Now look at this, I've just found something interesting. Down here is a bumblebee nest. I don't know how clear this is coming out. You can see a whole range of them. Must be about 50, maybe 20. This has probably been dug out by badgers. They'd love to have the grubs and larvae. This was probably done early this morning, maybe. Yeah, there must be about 15 or 20 of them. I'll have to go back and I'll have to research what species of bumblebee these are. Here we are, my patch. Still very boggy underfoot. You can probably hear it as I walk. Very wet. You can start to smell the mint coming up. Oh, there's a, let's see if I can get that. There's a damselfly. It could be a common blue or an azure. I'd have to look that up. You can hear lots of birds singing. There's goldfinches. Still got quite a few ladies' smock. Pretty delicate little flowers. All the reeds have grown up and grasses. See a lot more greenfinches along this hedgerow this year. For several years they've either been absent or maybe just the one, but this year they seem to have increased. But then the bullfinch, which are usually in this clump of trees here, they seem to have disappeared, so it's almost like one in, one out. The colony of feral bees that live in that tree, they've weathered the winter again, and they've started coming out and about, buzzing around. What I'm most interested in at the moment is if I can catch a glimpse of the roe deer that I've been seeing down here for a year. There's about 4 of them. One of the does is definitely pregnant, and I haven't seen them on the cameras for probably 2 weeks, so I suspect she might have calved, and the little deer is probably hidden in the grasses further up, out of sight. So here we are on my patch. As you can see, everything has grown. All the grasses, nettles, this bramble patch, the willows all in full leaf. There's loads of banded damosels around. Nettles has really come in. There's still a few pigeon. If we look down at the ground floor, there's a lovely smell of mint, water mint here. So I've walked past. You can see some lady's smock and some water forget-me-not. The ground is still surprised, although we've had lots and lots of sunshine and not much rain recently, the ground is still actually surprisingly wet and boggy along this stretch. I've come a little bit further down, blackbird flying over, got my little willow patch. And what we've got here is we've got some lovely rushes, because this area stays surprisingly wet. As you can see, the big difference in vegetation, slightly lower ground level, so that it's a lot wetter. And you can see where that starts. You can see the edge of the nettles, and you can see all of this dock leaves, willow herb. And as you move over to slightly where it's a bit wetter, you've got some juncus reeds, creeping buttercup, and this stand of lovely yellow flag iris that are just coming out. And this has been getting bigger and bigger every year. Started up with just one or two plants, and now there's, well, you can see there's a large bunch of it. It's spreading every year. The seed pods were probably brought in on flood water. I love this little willow thicket. It's basically one old willow tree. It's not that old, you know, but you can see where it's split and fallen. And if you look this side, you can see how all the new growth has come up from the fallen limb, and it's just spread the plants across. You can see here how you used to get willow making or willow weaving. You get nice straight poles. You can see why willow was basically farmed for various wood pieces, willow staves, the willow for willow weaving, because it grows so easily. I mean, some of the willows that are on this land are basically just offcuts, bits that I've taken off and then just pushed into the ground. They root so easily when the soil is optimum for them. That's the end of my patch. Got here some trees that I planted probably, what, 10-15 years ago. Doing nicely. A little clump of hazel. I bought a whole load of whips. Very few of the trees actually took. These beech are one of them. There's a bird cherry further down, and then there's the tree underneath the pylon. That's done. I wanted to put in native species, so this is hazel, so there'll be lots of hazelnuts for the squirrels in the autumn and winter, and the mice. Small. This is right on the limit on my zoom. Close here. We've got a pair of small red damselfly mating. The male grasps the female. She pulls her tail up to get fertilised. They'll stay like this for a while, and then they'll head off, and they'll go and deposit those eggs on reeds in the river. Got a roe deer bounding away. One of the bucks just startled him. Well, he startled me as well. Beautiful bouncing movement. There he goes. It's a lovely colour.